Hello everyone and welcome back to Chess Programming Game Design with me. So in the last lesson we started working on the undo button. We got pretty close to finishing. Today we're just going to fix a few things up. So if you remember, when we undid a promotion, what would happen was that our pawn would no longer have an image. Now there's an easy fix. This was our code. Resources.load pawn/black pawn. Now we're saying that inside of our resources folder there's another folder called pawns, and then our file or our image in our case is called black pawn. So if we want it to be that way, then what we need to do is go into our resources folder and create a folder pawns, inside of which we put the pawns. Or another thing you could do is, if you don't want to create this pawns folder here and just keep the pawns inside of here, which is perfectly acceptable for our case, you can just remove this and have it be like this. So either way works. And now if we start the game and try to promote a pawn, either black or white, and then we undo a move, let's just see. I did also fix up the black and white controllers so that they're fine. As you can see, the black pawn is a pawn now. The white pawn is a pawn as well. And that's fine. If I go over them, you will see that the pawn script is also in them. However, if I am to promote them, oops, what's going on now? Yeah, it's the queen script now in there. So that's fine. So that was one of the problems we were having, and that's how you fix it. It's an easy fix. Now the other problem is slightly more complicated to fix. So what would happen was that our pawn, so let me just demonstrate, if we promote it, if you remember, what we did was make moves made equal to 1 once we promote the pawn. So moves made, as you can see, is 1. And then if we undo move, what happens is, well, that goes back by 1, and if we go undo all the way, then our pawn can only make 1 move. And now for some reason I was able to select opposing pawns as well. That was odd. That wasn't supposed to happen. I will look into that later. But the fact that our moves made is -4 doesn't make sense. So how do we fix this? Well, let's go into our pawn to piece on click script, which I have open right now. In our remove pawn, instead of having it be a void, we will have it return an integer. I think that this is the best way of doing it. And then we will return an integer value. This integer is going to be the number of moves that the pawn has made. So we do the following. We have an integer called moves made by pawn, and we return it. The integer which we are calling moves made by pawn is equal to the remove from here square dot piece in square, so the piece that is on that square currently, and then moves made. So how many moves that pawn has made, and we return it. And so instead of just calling this method, we could still do it this way, but the best way of doing it here is having, again, another integer called pretty much the same thing, equals this. And now it's going to equal to this number of moves made. And the next thing we want to do, instead of having replaced pawn, just location of pawn, we will also pass an integer, meaning that our replace pawn function is also going to be accepting an integer argument, and this is going to be called previous moves made. And here I will just pass this. There we go. Now we are also going to need to make sure that we have the same thing happening in our inheriting classes. So I'll just copy and paste this. I will use the queen as an example. The easiest thing to do is just to copy and paste with the comma all the way to there, and then just paste it everywhere else. So inside of our queen or pawn to click on queen, what we do is added piece.initialize. For now we only have false, but inside of here we're also going to move pass previous moves made. And because it accepts an integer value as we made it do, it is going to accept that and not use the default value of 1. So I'm just going to go off camera and do this for the remaining 7 classes. Okay, so now I am finished with changing the 8 classes into what I said. And then I also noticed an oversight on my part. If you go into Game Manager and into undo move, into the method undo move, you will notice that in white pawn and in black pawn, we've said that the pawn that we're making is white. So instead of making it white in black pawn, we need to make it black, i.e. pass false here. And so now we have a fully functional undo move button. Let's just demonstrate it. I will also demonstrate it with castling so that you can be sure that I haven't cheated in any way. I will castle the white king to the left, the black king to the right, or at least to my best. There we go. There, let's do a pawn promotion on any side. And I think that, also en passant. I can also demonstrate that. I will move these pieces anywhere as well. Let's do an en passant. Okay, let's try to use that pawn for the en passant. I will move the king and then move that black pawn somewhere here and move it again. Now that goes there, that goes there. And if we undo move on everything, it doesn't work. Let's check it out. So we have a object reference that's set to an instance of an object. That means that some part of this doesn't actually exist. So let's see. So our current problem is that the undo button doesn't undo en passant properly. And this is because of the way we've made a check selection to work with en passant. So this is where it happens for white, and this is where it happens for black. The way I fixed this was, instead of having current piece selection, square selection.piece in square being selected, I moved that slightly. So let me just copy what I have in my code, in my other code. I forgot to mention this in the last video actually, because this is always going to be null if we're doing en passant. So to fix that, we have to do it this way. We have to look at the square, the current square selection, but the row -1 for white, because the black pawn is going to be one square beneath the square to which our pawn is going to move. Similarly, in black pawn, and this is also en passant. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's bound to be at least one French viewer that's going to be angry at me, but oh well. Yeah, similarly here, for the black en passant, we have +1. And so if we now try to undo en passant, what is going to happen is that the pawn does reappear, as you just saw there, because otherwise we would be looking at the null that's there, and you can't undo. There is no, if there is a null, then it's not a piece. But now, because we have a piece, we don't get an error. And I knew that it was an error with our en passant because I just rewatched my own video, and it sometimes helps to record yourself to see what's going on. So yeah, this is going to be a shorter video once again. I'm going to leave it there. In the next video we're going to be moving on. We are finished with the undo button, so in the next video we are going to start working on the king move. Yeah, basically just everything with the king. So check, checkmate, stalemate, where the king is allowed and isn't allowed to move, so the king shouldn't ever be allowed to move into the line of fire, and so on. So if you enjoyed this video, then please give me a like, share and subscribe. It encourages me to make more of these kind of videos. Other than that, once again, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask in the comments down below, and goodbye.